In a world where 66% of us say that we want more feminine leadership in order to solve the problems we have, how come not more HR leaders are advocating for more feminine leadership? This is a question I pondered upon today because it's so weird that HR leaders are not more passionately interested in finding out what is that feminine that people are asking for. Already in 2013, John Gazerma made this big global analysis where he asked 64,000 people in 13 different countries, what do you consider masculine and what do you consider feminine? And then he asked, what leadership do you think we need now on the globe? And it turned out that 2/3 said that they needed more of the characteristics that they associated with the feminine. Not because there was something wrong with the masculine, but because we have just entered a time where there is more need for some of the feminine qualities in all genders. So this was not about men or women, it was about qualities that we needed in the leadership. So that was in 13. It's almost 10 years ago. And what happened? Did we introduce more feminine leadership traits in our organizations? How was it in your organization? Did you experience that there was more emphasis on the feminine, that more people, your HR leaders were really actively cultivating, helping you develop these qualities in yourself? Have you experienced that? Because I haven't seen it, and I'm a specialist in feminine leadership. I have not been called by HR leaders who say, we need to know how to do this. I mean, now it's starting to happen from CEOs who are aware of this, but it's actually quite surprising how few HR leaders are actively looking up what is these feminine qualities that we need now. The employees are demanding it, the public is demanding it, everybody is looking for more balanced leadership. And in order to bring forward more balance, we need to get interested in what's missing, and we need to cultivate that, and we need to add that to the pot. Otherwise, it won't happen. So this is a little urge for you to ask your HR leader, what are you doing about introducing a more feminine leadership? Are you actively helping women in the organization develop, evolve their feminine leadership, which is what they can contribute? Or are you actively blocking it? And I actually find that some HR leaders are actively blocking it by not being interested, by saying, no, we have our own programs, which is same old, same old, same old, same old, PowerPoints, blue suits presenting a new concept for the mind. This is not where the feminine lives. The feminine lives below the mind. The feminine lives everywhere. It's the heart, it's the soul, it's the body, it's the erotic intelligence, it's the energetic awareness, it's the collective intelligence. It has nothing to do with, it's not primarily mind. So no more, the concepts that are mind to mind are not going to introduce more feminine leadership in the organization. It's not going to happen, and we have now tested it for I don't know how many years. It has still not happened. We need to go about introducing the feminine leadership in completely new ways. And this is why I urge the HR leaders to get interested in, okay, how can we do that? And look up the experts. I'm not the only expert. There are many experts, but you have to look them up and you have to invite them in, and you have to start some experiments to see what happens when we allow the feminine to evolve in our male and female leaders in the organization. You have to be more outgoing and look it up and invite it in and start experimenting. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And I think one of the reasons why it's not happening is because leaders who are have the responsibility of introducing the new leadership actually, to be honest, feel a little bit threatened by it. Because it's something you don't master yourself. First of all, you might feel ashamed that you don't master it yet yourself, which is understandable. This is, we so fast get the feeling of shame, guilt and shame. Oh, I did something wrong. You did nothing wrong. You were just taking care of your job and doing the very best you could. And maybe you didn't even know that there's something called leadership based on the feminine model and feminine leadership. You don't know what it is. That's so fine. We can't know everything all the time. You probably know a lot of other things that I don't know anything about. So it could be that you feel ashamed that I should have known about this. Well, no, you should now. I tell you so. It's so fine. From now on, you know. Then there's another reason why it's blocked. It's because we are afraid of the unknown. So we are afraid of something we don't know. We're like, it's better, it's more safe to just play ostrich and not listen and not look it up. So, but that's just a very, very dangerous, it's a dangerous path, especially today, because we see that this ostrich method has really led us into trouble on top of trouble on top of trouble. And now it's like insurmountable amounts of problems we have. We're actually in the era of mass extinction. So that method is just not working. So we have to grow up and get more mature and face what we fear and admit where we're ignorant, and still be courageous enough to choose to learn, to choose to grow, to choose to enter forms where you might not feel comfortable, it might feel difficult and strange, but it's still new and it's opening, and it's opening up to the possibility of growth. So I really urge you to gently and kindly invite your HR leader to learn and to grow and to be open to new initiatives. And I also urge yourself to be that. Companies are so dependent on people thinking for themselves, to take on their own leadership, to contribute with what they can feel in their heart and soul is the right thing to do, the right thing to stand for, the right thing to work for, the right thing to evolve, to support. It's so important that everybody becomes their own guru and really go for what they believe in, because that's what we're dependent on for the evolution of all. So kindly invite your HR leader to watch this video, to check out, book a talk with me. It's free. I talk to leaders for free, and I am so happy to pass on my knowledge for free. Or you can buy my book, or you can look at my tons of videos. There's so many paths that don't cost you anything. You can actually sit and you don't even have to admit you're interested. You just look it up in your own little office and don't need to tell anybody. But just know it exists, and be open to learning and growing and evolving and checking out something that you might think is a bit weird. The feminine, what is that doing in the workplace? It's actually quite important. And as I said, 2/3 of our population are demanding more feminine energy in the leadership offices. So you could be the hero or the heroine who's introducing that. It's actually very easy and very, very pleasurable to introduce the feminine. It doesn't hurt at all. It can even be very fun. So nothing to fear, and a lot to explore, and a lot to open up to, and a lot to evolve, and a lot to experiment, and a lot to create, and a lot of evolution that wants to happen. So I urge you to answer that calling. Thank you for your attention.